I think the big thing for me is I realised quite quickly that I wasn't probably good enough to become a professional footballer at the highest level. I often say that I was a very good footballer until I signed professionally with Motherwell in Scotland, and then I realised that basically it was going to be very difficult for me to make a living out of being only a professional footballer. But my life, to answer your question, my life actually changed when I was 15 years old, when my dad took me to the World Cup in 1994 in the United States, in New York. And I remember when I seen New York for the first time, I just thought, wow, you know, life is out there, you know, it's not just in my mum's house in Glasgow, and that gave me, something changed in me when I seen New York. And I thought, you know what, life is to be lived, you know, you have to travel, you need to do things, and I had the opportunity of a scholarship in a university in New York. And that's when I understood through my own experience when I went to America as a student athlete, that any project that combines sport, education and travel, you know, it's something very, very worthwhile. And that's what led me really to have the idea to create Edusport Academy in 2011. Yeah, so it was actually quite challenging, if I'm being honest. I mean, I had the idea because when I was living in France, like France is quite well renowned for having, you know, good young talent, good young footballers. Probably not so well renowned for having a good English level, you know, so that I thought if we could combine both football, education and travel, so bringing young French kids into Glasgow, I thought it would be a really nice concept. And at that time in 2011 there wasn't so many private football academies existing. Nowadays there's quite a lot, but I think I was one of the very first ones to create a football academy. But it was quite challenging because you have to, you know, have no real experience at that point, you know, how do you set up a football academy? So I used to go into Starbucks, have a coffee, have a little notebook, and I used to think, okay, what do I do? Right, first of all, you need a football field. Okay, so where? Okay, Glasgow. Okay, you need coaches. Okay, how do you get coaches? You know, okay, education. So you need to develop these partnerships. So I went back to Glasgow and I did a lot of research into where I could host the academy, what kind of educational partners we could have, and then obviously what kind of coaches. So it was just like a jigsaw puzzle, piecing things together. And then once you have the academy, it's a concept, then what you have to do, you have to get players, and this was the challenging thing. So you have to get players that actually buy into your vision, and we managed to do that. So the very first year of the Edusport Academy in 2011, we had 18 students who signed up for the academy. 18 young French students who came from France into Glasgow for a year, and that allowed us the very first experience of Edusport.
It's a real challenge because quite simply, Scottish football is very traditional, you know, stoic kind of environment. It's 150 years old. So for Edusport Academy, it was a very new concept at the time. You know, it was also bringing young French footballers into Scotland. So there's quite a lot of opposition initially because it was different. People don't generally like change. You know, when I was kind of the new kid on the block with this new idea. But once we set up Edusport Academy in 2011, we played a lot of friendly games. After I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years, I thought it'd be really nice if instead of just playing friendly games against pro clubs, we could actually play in a real league. I remember going to the AGM, we had to pitch up and explain what is Edusport, and with the greatest respect to the members in that room, the average age I think they were 65, 70, they had the blazers on, club ties, and here I am speaking about, you know, footballers from Paris coming to play this. And I thought, you know, I'm pitching it, I'm thinking there's no way they're going to allow us to come into the league. So after the meeting, they sent us outside, and then they came back in. And to be fair, they allowed us into the league. So that was excellent for us because we went from being a private football academy to having an opportunity to be a real football club. And after that, we had to get membership of the SFA, so we had to apply to become full members of the Scottish FA. And following from that, they allowed us actually membership of the SFA, which is absolutely, you know, that was king football history. We then got the club licence, and we became a real football club. Youngest senior football club, we're quite innovative. We don't have an app, so I think we're one of the only clubs in Scotland to have an app that's actually specifically designed for fan engagement. We put a lot of emphasis into create content. We have a good social media presence. We create a lot of content behind the scenes, so that is the identity of the club. Essentially, has been this forward-thinking, innovative club. It's almost a disruptor, if you like, in Scottish football. One of the things I think that's most important is just the fact that we have owners from around the world. So we recently put the club on a platform called WeFunder, which allows for equity crowdfunding. We have over 850 owners from 30 different countries. We have a lot of owners in America. We have actually 48 states out of the 50 that are represented in the ownership group. but we have such a diverse ownership community. We have people who work in the NBA, people who work in the NFL, we have musicians. It's such an interesting and such a cool concept to have so many people from around the world who have bought into this small club in the fifth division. So that, to answer the question, the identity of the club is in the diversity of the community and the ownership group. The course when I did my master's degree here, I think the platform was excellent, allowing me to do further education while also running football club and academy, so that was fantastic. And I think the experience I had here has helped me become a better leader, hopefully. I'm a better manager, particularly in marketing as well, because the club and the academy rely heavily on digital marketing, so that's something I really took from the course. Football, as we know, is a very competitive industry, and I think it's important that young students and players plan for an alternative career whether or not they make it at the highest level. So the partnership that we have with the Johan Cruyff Institute with Edusport Academy allows us to deliver real quality courses to our students that prepare them for a career out with professional sport as well. So that's fantastic. We're looking forward to growing the partnership with the Cruyff Institute.